In this week's podcast, we're joined by Terstin and Julia, who are some of the key people behind Poland's very own Revive Festival. Founded in 2017 by Terstin himself, Revive started as a small party of die-hard techno enthusiasts and ravers on the streets of Wroclaw. But over the years, Revive has bloomed into one of the most internationally respected and esteemed events on the techno calendar. With success comes growth, and so Julia joined Revive team in order to manage the booking side of things a few years later. In the podcast, we delved into Terstin and Julia's first connections with electronic music, their current and potential future plans for the festival, and focusing on the positive sides of the world reset we're currently experiencing. Julia also details her experience as a booker, and with Terstin we touch on why the pandemic has created a golden opportunity for electronic music to flourish. Terstin and Julia also share with us the most important thing for an artist to get noticed by events promoters and club bookers. Stay tuned and check it out.
Thank you so much for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you both. And so let's start with a very easy introductory question for people who don't know you personally, because you have been behind the scenes of a lot of events, but people might not know you yet. So Julia, if someone meets you at a house party, and they ask you the classic question, what do you do? How do you normally respond?
So it would be also a classic response. So I'm working, I'm also studying, I live in Gdańsk, so it's kind of basic activities. Also in private life, I also train a lot. I try to be kind of fit. Yeah, but in general, I work and also study applied linguistics on the university. So I'm kind of bonded with German language, also English and Norwegian. So
right. Makes sense. And you are, of course, the booker at Revive.
Yes, I'm gaining experience in it.
Amazing. Okay. Yes. And we're going to go into that in a second. And let's move to Terstin. What about you? So if someone asks you, what do you do in life? What's your answer?
I would say that in normal situation, I do everything to have music around me and my friends around me. But right now, of course, this is the target still, but I had to rebuild my life totally. So I'm trying to do something when I am not able to make an event in the level I would like to do. So I started like a normal life. I work in an investment company, and I'm trying to survive.
Yeah. Well, you were saying to me a few minutes ago, like, that's very different from your normal life. How are you finding the company? How are you finding the new environment compared to techno?
I found a job on Facebook, like on the group. It's like the old company, but they have the new department in Berlin. So it's like a corporation. It's my first time like that kind of job. So I was a little bit afraid that I cannot fit to it, the financial company. But when you need to survive, when you need to rebuild your life, you need to be open for a new experience. And actually, I don't regret because I have cool people around me, and it is not so scared as I thought it will be.
Yeah, and of course, and as you mentioned, like it's everybody needs to adapt. Like it would be amazing if we all can do just exactly what we love to do, but sometimes we need to keep moving however we can. And yeah, so the question is like a segue to your introduction is, now that these days basically there's no physical event, how are you guys rethinking about Revive? What's your plan? How are you feeling about the pandemic? It's a tough question. It's a tough year. I would love to hear more.
Right.
Terstin, you want to start, and then I'll ask you this.
Like on the beginning of pandemic, we didn't know how much it would take, So I was asking myself the question if I want to do something which is not really exactly what I wanted to do. And I said, no, I prefer to wait until the pandemic will stop to make it in our own way, because like I understand it and I respect that someone trying to do something for the music industry, but I cannot imagine my festival with the half empty floor, because the people are expecting it, waiting for it, also the artists, and I want to improve the best levels, the best quality. And for me, the people inside are the most important. They are creating the energy. So without them, I don't see the future for this, you know, so I prefer to wait.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's understandable. You put a lot of work into building a community around events, around bringing people together. Now it's all virtual, so it kind of lost the ethos of the essence of the party. Yeah. Julia, how has your life and your Revive perspective on Revive changed since the pandemic?
So definitely, I met a lot of new people who bonded also with music, which I love. Also, it gives me some kind of new opportunities because I'm working now, for example, with Terstin, who is teaching me some kind of always baking thing. For example, also it's some kind of new for me because when somebody loves music, it's really it's really good to see how it all works from scratch, you know. So it's, I think, for the person who really loves music is a really good opportunity. So some kind of this change, and I love this change.
Yeah, it's a new challenge, and on a personal level for you both, like how are you keeping yourself sane and mentally balanced now that the world is basically very, you know, has taken a very weird turn?
So when it comes to me, I didn't change a lot. So I work, I study, I have a lot of things during my week. So I didn't see this whole pandemic. It didn't influence on me, to be honest. So yeah, fortunately I have work, so I didn't have a problem, which I think have a lot of people that don't have work, for example. So yeah, it's only at this disadvantage that we cannot meet a lot of people. For example, we can go on festivals, and I'm looking forward when it all will end.
Yeah, I can imagine. And Terstin, what about you?
Actually, you know, the paradox of the whole situation is that before the pandemic, more deeper I was in the music industry, less I was enjoying it. I think it's a problem of the promoters. If you want to make a bigger events, you stuck on the documents or some, you know, organization things. And right now I have a more time, a lot of space in my mind. So I started to, you know, exploring music more than I actually before the pandemic. So I try to find, always finding some positives. And yeah, I became to be more hungry. I had a lot of time to explore the music. So, you know, this keeps me, you know, feeling good and
Yeah,
Some kind of motivation.
having patience for this pandemic. It's not easy, right? But what can we do?
No, I like the approach. I mean, we can take it as Julia was saying, yeah, keeping motivated. Like we can take all these things with a lot of pain and trouble and stress out about it, or we can just do the most out of it. I also prefer the latter. Yeah.
And I think every day give us new opportunities also, and with every day we are, I think, to the end of this whole situation. So it's kind of positive thinking, but I think it's worth it.
At the beginning of the pandemic, I was like a child, you know. I was waiting till it will be over, and I was thinking, okay, it has to be like 2-3 months, and it's over. And I was, you know, waiting, and it made me really nervous. But right now, I'm relaxed. I don't know if it will be half a year or 5 years. So it's good to not planning, not thinking about the over of all of this shit.
Yeah, of course. Is there any particular habit or new process that you guys have explored because of the pandemic? Terstin, you mentioned you had more time to look at music. Anything you learned? Any new stuff you learned?
You know, I learned that I need to have more space in my life. That actually this makes me more successful in what I do. Because before of the pandemic, now I realize I didn't feel it so much, but I realized that I lived in a big chaos, you know. So right now in the world it's a chaos, but Terstin side is more peaceful because I have a time. I have the time to think about it, about everything 3 times before I will do something. So yeah, this is my lesson. Sometimes you cannot do everything. You need to focus on a one, two things.
Yeah.
Like a pandemic is like a reset for me. So everything
Yeah.
beginning from the point zero.
Yeah.
This is the thing I like on the whole of this situation.
Yeah, I love the word reset. It is exactly what we are. It's like someone pressed a huge button of reset and the world stopped, and we're all like trying to reset our lives accordingly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that is showing us what the real value is, right? So sometimes we are forgetting what's really important, and right now we have to know we have the time for reflection and to think about it. So it's always helpful.
Yes, it is. And Julia, you were saying something about it.
yes, I think not only because we have now a time, for example, to develop our skills on which we haven't time, for example, before. When it comes to me, I, for example, have a lot of books which I haven't got time to read. And now during this pandemic, I sit home. So I also work from home. And that's make me, this I have a lot of time, for example, to read books or to develop other skills, for example. And before it wasn't, yeah, I haven't got the time for it. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Now you can read more. You have time to rethink about stuff you want to learn. That's a great thing actually. Yeah, and let's talk about Revive, like how you guys started, like what's behind that. Terstin, I'm gonna ask you, as you started it in 2017, like what was behind the idea, and do you remember how you were feeling when you were setting up for the first event?
Okay. I didn't felt to be too much stress. I think I felt to be excited. And actually, you know, my small adventure started a couple years before in Netherlands where I lived. But actually, you know, I wasn't really deep into the stage, into the scene. So, you know, I had a regular work and not too much time, not too much connections. And, you know, I was doing some small events in Den Haag and Rotterdam. But then I realized that maybe it's good to start in Poland, you know, because I know more people. I have more knowledge about the stage, where about the important places, and you know, it was a good decision. You know, we started from this local. Actually, I was the only one person that planned this event, and later we had like a group of people. So from the second event, we had like a team, like a collective, and we just you know, went with the flow. So it was a good decision.
Yeah, and what's behind the name Revive?
We always wanted to, you know, create something fresh. It's always important and difficult, actually, you know. So Revive, like I wanted to show something fresh to the people.
Yeah.
I don't think we did it from the very beginning because we was learning, but actually the festival gave the you know, fresh wave to the scene. Of course, you will always find more visionary projects like fresher, but you know, during this time, it was enough, and I'm happy that we choose this direction.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask you in a second about like, you know, how the direction changed over the time. But let me ask Julia, what about you? How did you join Revive? When did that happen?
So at first, when I have said earlier, I was really into this music and I wanted to how it looks like from the scratch. So when I saw that Revive is have a recruitment for some kind of volunteers, it was called architects, which so to the task for these people was to promote festival, for example, and when it comes to organization, also you could help, for example. So for me, it could be a good opportunity to start, for example, my journey, but I didn't realize that I will go so far when I could say it. For example, like I said, I study applied linguistics, so I'm really into languages. So it was often the situation that some kind of Also, I don't know, Terstin and other people from our team needed, for example, translation from some text, and I was always able to do it. So I was kind of active, and I remember that it was kind of maybe 2 years ago or 1.5 years, around that. So my colleague from the main team had wrote to me that I have an opportunity to join this main team in Revive because I'm kind of active person and she really liked me. So I said yes, why not? And it's how it started now.
Yeah, amazing. And what was the initial? So you started in which role?
It was like a volunteer. So as I said, it is a group. For example, for people who attend to some kind of events, also New Revive, and they have an opportunity to promote, for example, the festival. They are helping, for example, some kind of organization when it comes to, I don't know, it was, yeah, for example, promoting, yes. So some kind of also, as I said, I have an opportunity to translate some text, for example, on the page or some kind of, yeah, I was doing.
Yeah, and then it progressed like, and now you became like closer and closer to Terstin, I guess, and the core team, and eventually you decided to help the team grow.
Yes, I have this opportunity.
Yeah, very cool. Terstin, like in terms of like the selection of artists you were mentioning before, you started with the idea, I want to do something fresh, I want to bring something new to Poland. How do you think the style or Revive of the artist evolved over time from where you started 2017 to the last event you did?
Like when I told you about the freshness, I didn't mean only the sound, because like we had a lot of techno events in Poland. It's difficult to make something fresh, not in Poland but in the whole scene. But we always wanted to make the events that are more experienced than dance events, So there's a couple of projects in Poland that doing it, and we wanted to keep going this way. So we always try to do some part of the festival that is not really into music, but actually it's somehow connected. That's why we was organizing the. For example, masterclass with Lucy, some very innovative piano concert with Rose, and things like this. And of course, you cannot involve the whole crowd into this kind of activity, but it's important to do this even for a smaller group of people, to show them that music is not everything.
Absolutely, and you're kind of providing the platform for new experiences. I like how you put it. Like it's the experience that matters. It's not just about the music. People come there to feel the vibe, but also like to perhaps do the masterclass with Lucy, listen to a different concert from Rose. It is interesting. And can you recall any specific act or performance that for you really defined the culture of Revive?
If we're talking about the Revive, I would say it was Oak live performance, and for example, the Empire Line.
Yeah.
Like we are talking about the last festival, but it's for me like a long time, because it was in March 2019.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It would be a better question if I would say about it like 2 months after the festival. Right now it's difficult to think about it, and because it's like a history.
It is history. Yeah.
Nothing but can surprise people anymore. But yeah, I would say that this was the most interesting during the last edition. Mm-hmm. And right now, to be honest, I want to involve more music genre than techno, electro, and things like this. I want to explore more and show it to the people. I hope we'll be able to make it soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. It's just a matter of when. At some point in the future. Julia, was there any act that in your personal view you felt inspired by?
For example, Vampire Line, or also from Revive. But to be honest, when I'm sitting home and I don't have an opportunity to go anywhere, when I recall every kind of festival or every kind of events, it's maybe so feeling jealous that I have an opportunity to be there, for example, and now I haven't.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I've seen on Instagram the picture of the Empire Line with the lead singer was like, you know, the guy was with the microphone. Beautiful picture, very interesting with the smoke that is coming, that is behind him. I think with these red lights, very interesting. If you're thinking, this is a question for both of you. When you're evolving as a festival and you have some artists that are also helping you define the culture and the vibe of the festival, how do you build the relationship with these artists and with their agents? How do you nurture like long-term relationships with your key artists, for example?
So I have to say that we have a huge team. So we are aware that artists know a lot of booking agencies, also a lot of bookers, or they travel a lot on a different festival or different parties. And we also really take care of them. For example, when you have a huge team, we also share the task when it comes to take care of them. Also, when they have their gigs, for example, in Poland, we also try to attend to them, also to listen to their music, to talk to them. So also some people from our team are in touch, for example, on Facebook with some artists.
Yeah, all right, yes. Testing, anything you want to add?
I would say that we are always ourselves, you know. We are always friendly to the artists, and I think in general Polish people are kind, you know. So the artists like to play in Poland. They feel comfortable here, and you know, that's why we always had a good connection. Also with the Italian guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what is between both countries, but we are in some way similar. But you know, it's like if you do events from your, you know, with your passion, and then artists,
Yeah,
standing here, that they feel it, you know. That's why they feel comfortable. We are not like a businessman. We never been a businessman, and we will not be. So
yeah.
it's like a natural connection.
It's human, and by the way, I personally think that between Italians and Polish, it's some kind of sense of humor, that there is some kind of sense of humor that is very similar. I can't recall a specific example, but I always had the feeling with my Polish friends that we get our sense of humor that sometimes is a bit like cynic and a bit like sharp, and we laugh about the same stuff. We're like, oh, okay, I get you, you know.
We are open, you know. We are open people, so that's
Very true. Yeah. Yeah, very true. And in terms of like, so this is regarding what you mentioned is regarding like established artists. Is there any research that you do for smaller, let's say, up and coming artists that you want to promote, sample, perhaps from Poland or from elsewhere? Let me flip the question. If you were a small artist, an up and coming artist, what would be the best way, or like what some of the best ways for you to be spotted by a booker or a festival promoter?
I think the most important is to find your own DNA, you know, in the music. This is like, you know, it's very difficult to be surprised in the electronic music during these days, right? But it's still possible. So as an artist, you should always show yourself what's inside of you, and trying to, you know, find a sound that will be, you know, connected only by you, only with you. So yeah, this is for me as a booker important to have like very original sound in the lineup. So it's always you know, give a colors to your program.
Got it. Yeah. And was there like at any moment where you felt like you really found something that was amazing, like, you know, artists that were not so known and you felt like Revive had the chance to put a stage around an artist that was not so known, and you felt really proud of that, perhaps?
So to be honest, from my side, I really appreciate the comments after the festival or small parties, for example, when people said that it was really good to hear some kind of this music, because in Poland we don't have, for example, an opportunity to hear, for example, this combination or some kind of, and it's really motivated. I think it's also my thing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, and was there like any specific comment that comes to mind of someone that was particularly inspired by the festival and the night?
To be honest, one concrete comment, not. But in general, it comes to this that we make a good work, for example.
Yeah, it must be super satisfying. Let me ask you something about like mistakes and also lacks in your path. Terstin, like maybe something for you. What do you think has been one of the big mistakes that you perhaps did or the team did in the early days that eventually became like learning for you? But it was a mistake at that time and you felt like, fuck, what did I do?
I had so many mistakes. I cannot choose the one. You know, sometimes we are too brave, maybe, and we are talking too much. That can take. You know, sometimes it's better to shut the mouth. So yeah, and like I said before, if I'm talking about myself, you know, I always try to do too many things. I cannot focus on one thing, and it's you know, kind of good because you're exploring and you are changing your horizons, but also it can destroy you. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
You cannot do everything.
Yeah, of course. You stretch yourself too thin, and
I like risk too much, and I think all our collective like risk too much.
Yeah. in terms of risk, in terms of like sorry, Julia, go on.
Yeah, without risk is no fun. It's also, yeah.
Yeah, you guys think about risk in terms of perhaps booking artists that are not so known or getting a big venue. What could be like a risk?
The artist is not a problem. It's not a risk. It's you know, it's the only way for me, the only proper way, because we don't want to create audience that's coming for a commercial names. They had to come for this specific way of sound. You know, this philosophy, how to say it. So I don't think it's a risk, but yeah, we like big achievements, and yeah, we definitely risking too much. Like everything happened too quick for us. You know, we started to make small events without so much experience, and then we decided to make a festival. But you know, we knew a lot about the music, but we didn't know anything about the business. So
Right.
in some way, in some point, it has to be a problem, you know, sooner or later. But yeah.
Of course, but yeah, the thing is like you learn from it, and that becomes a tool eventually. And segue to this discussion is like, what do you guys think there has been like any turning point or any lack for Revive in your growth?
I would say, look, I am from Opole. My hometown is like a city for 150,000 people. And actually, it surprised me that 2 years ago, the right hand of the president of Opole proposed us to make an event, you know, and the nation. It's like, it's something I wouldn't even never expect, you know. It's like, I still cannot believe it, because we never had an electronic club with electronic music. So it was strange. It was surprise. And when we started to planning this event, I think it was the most difficult thing we had to do. And I was expecting that people will not feel it because, you know, it's not really,
Yeah.
say it.
It's not like a
It's
normal
not really
thing.
famous sound, you know, in Opole. They don't know much about it, but actually I was surprised because the vibe was better than anywhere. Like it was like a, you know, clear energy, and this was you know, the point, the moment that I felt that we do something important, and even if it was hard,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
I like that we did it, you know.
Yeah, first of all, congrats. It's probably unexpected, and that made it like even more special. It means like your city is recognizing you as like an aggregator or a platform for a community to get together. It's a beautiful thing. And also,
The more beautiful is that, you know, the politics think this way, that, you know, Opole is famous from the festival that happened like, you know, from 30 years ago. It's like the famous festival of Polish songs, you know. So like during those days, it's like a very classic sound, you know, not
wow.
really enjoyable, and it's good that they looking for the future. It's not often happening in Poland, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, yeah, it's congrats, big success. Yeah, onwards and upwards. Let's see what comes next.
Yeah, I hope something will come because, you know, pandemic stopped everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, for example, there's in Poland also a city named Płock, and there is also a summer festival, Aldi River. So it's also a small city, but each year there is so huge audience from the electronic music attendance. So it's also, I think, to make it, for example.
Yeah, but Aldi River is the place which is beautiful, and it's like you know, good options for a small holiday. And in Poland, we had to do event in a winter, so it was very risky to make it. But actually, we had a very good audience, very good energy, and very open-minded politics behind this project. So
That's really great to hear. Yeah, it also means like, you know, the city is opening up, it's like embracing this culture. You're making a difference. And how are you guys? So this is more a question for Julia, but also like potentially for Terstin. Like if someone wanted to become a booker or wanted to become, yeah, let's say also a promoter, and what would be a way for them to get closer to this world and perhaps become a booker?
So definitely, you have to attend for festivals, also to be oriented in what music you wanted to go. But also, I have this luck that I'm testing, so I have opportunity to gain some experience from him. But to be honest, being a booker seems to be very task oriented, but it's also some kind of art. So you not only talking with agencies, but you also express yourself. For example, when you are creating some kind of lineup, also, yeah, you fulfill people's wishes, but you also fulfill your visions. And when it comes to some kind of particular particular things, I think you have to be some kind of open-minded, because you will talk with some kind of agencies also, and negotiate often. Also, knowing the languages, I think, is also very important. I don't know if you have something to add, maybe.
yeah, I would say that you need to be the guy from this inside world, because, for example, we had many promoters that you know, started to make electronic music events because it became to be a famous in Poland, popular.
Right.
And they lost because all of they had is some money and some you know, organization skills, but it's not enough. You know, like a lack of money, you can somehow fix, and you know, lack of experience you can fix, but you need to be the guide from the inside. You need to know how to make it, because the good sound system and you know, the good marketing is not everything.
Yeah, very true. And like Yeah, let's say you know resources are important, but it's probably not the core part. Like you guys being part of that community, loving the music, knowing which artists are real and booking them, that's far more important than resources. You can get resources from someone else and drive the festival even when you start from scratch, but otherwise, like the money doesn't buy you a community, doesn't buy you engagement of people, doesn't buy you the heart of people. That's the thing that makes a difference.
Yeah, you can be the best organizer. You can you know, make a lot of great events, but if you want to start with the electronic music, this type of electronic music, you need to be from you know, this inside world. You cannot change your whole history. You cannot be this person if you want to. Yes.
Yeah, and to give people an idea of also the work that goes into that, like how much planning and work goes into an event. Let's say a festival, and then we go also into a specific club night. In terms of hours, the team that goes into that, like a rough scale.
I would say that I am the worst for planning from the whole team. I am the big chaos, you know. So it's not a good question for me. I think we should ask this question, Paulina. She's probably listening to us. She's like the boss of the, you know, organization part of this project. So I would say that, like, you know, this is still not a big festival. I think like preparing the space and everything we need to make this, like physically, what we need to make for this event, like maybe 1 week. But a couple of weeks we need to, you know, to prepare all the concept, the marketing plan and everything. So it's not like still not like a full-time job, but yeah, we need to spend a couple of hours every day.
Yeah, but there is a team. There's a team behind it. Yeah. And I'm gonna ask you another few questions, and then we're gonna open to Q&A. I see there is already like 2 questions that come in. So revive fatality. I think that was something that seems to be resonating a lot with you guys. Can you explain to people what revive fatality is, and why it was so special?
Terstin, go on. Your specialty.
I would say it's like a huge after party, but I prefer to say that it's like the 3rd day of the festival, because for most of the people is the most important part of it, because it's more cameral. We don't have there much people. We're always doing it in some, you know, industrial area, and I always felt that, you know, partying during the day is something, you know, that people in Poland need. It's something that we didn't have too much, and actually it was risky plan, but yeah, I think this is the coolest part of the event. And you know, because of we are open to the artists, they are open to us, and we always had some, you know, unexpected gigs that always makes, you know, this day special.
Yeah, also the unexpected ones are there.
So it's like a really like family vibe, you know, because we don't have more than 200, 300 people during the last day, and I think this is the whole magic.
Yeah, makes sense. And then there was I think there was a back to back with someone Oak and Tommy for 7 that actually made a bit of buzz.
Yeah, can you imagine this? You know, like Oak with the Tommy for 7 is something, you know, what happened, but someone between this. Yeah, but actually it was crazy and nice, and you know, Revive Fatality. We always have like a few artists that is booked for this day. Mostly it's like a young talents, but rest is a surprise. But not only for the people, it's a surprise for us as well, because we never know what will happen. And it was very spontaneous with Tommy, Og, and someone. They just, you know, felt good, after the event, and we finished at 10 a.m. They wanted to keep going, so why not?
Oh yeah, yeah. It makes me want to go party again. Yeah, it will come back one day. We'll come back. So let me start asking you some questions from the audience. So there is a question from Juliana, which is about, yeah, she's saying, we really hope and look forward to Revive 2021. And how are you planning to survive these hard times with the festival? Like, do you need to, are you raising money? Do you need to raise money? Or for now it's okay because you're not organizing events, so you're not paying for the events?
Actually, to be honest, it's not bad for us. It was a problem on the beginning, but I need to say a huge thank you for the whole of the artists from the lineup, because they are full of patience, and also the agency are not asking us for for the money, for the booking fee. So like the most beautiful thing is that the scene is united in this problem. So as a festival, we don't have much problems right now. We had a lag because before the festival, we was involved in one project, and we had to open the club in Wroclaw.
Mm-hmm.
So we was very deep into it, because we already was doing some paperwork, some things with the PHP in Poland. How to say it? About the safety of the of the place.
Yes. Yeah.
And one guy that had to invest into this project, like he had to cancel it, and because of that, we are now have a clear situation, because it was like 2 months before pandemic. So of course, it was not only our project, but we was involved. And if we would be able to open this club before the pandemic, now I cannot imagine what kind of problems we could have because of this.
Wow, that's timing actually worked in your favor this time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think we need to support the clubs right now, because they have the most difficult situation. Having a club in Poland is difficult even without the pandemic. It's a really tough business, and right now I cannot imagine.
Yeah. Clubs are the ones that are getting hit the most. Yeah, and all the staff of clubs as well, and not just the owners.
Yeah, as an artist, you can find another job for a couple of months, But,
yeah, it's true.
And like our government's the shit, they will not help you. They will give you a credit that you need to give back or whatever. So
which makes it hard. Again, like if you're ready to go to zero.
It's a white country, It's a Catholic country, and the events is like from their perspective, it's only drugs and the fun, and it's nothing important, nothing what they need. So
no, it's a scene. It's like a place for scene, and
like in Berlin, like Berlin is a cultural place, or more clubs, right? But in Poland, it's totally different.
Germany, or rather Berlin in particular, it's amazing for that. Like
I was in Italy with the government and the clubs and everything.
It's kind of in between. Like I think culture, music, super important for Italy as a country. Electronic music is a bit marginalized because again, very Catholic country. Doing late stuff at night, I don't know, especially like techno or experimental stuff. People dressed in black, wearing sunglasses at night. It just looks, the average, it's very conservative as a country, Italy. It's not really open-minded. I'm generalizing.
In Poland also.
Yeah. So sometimes, the techno people, the electronic music people are the black sheeps. So they don't get all the support. Yeah. Clubs are really getting the hit. And following up, another question. This is a question for Julia. We talk a lot about gender equality, and it's amazing to see a woman in events and in techno. What challenges have you faced, if any, and what could be an advice for other women that want to be more involved?
So for the people who want to be more involved in some project or?
In events, so it seems like, I guess the background of the question might be that the techno scene might be very male oriented.
So I think if someone would like to develop a project, for example, I think the most important thing is to have some kind of history, some kind of DNA, because, okay, we can book, for example, some artists who are popular or something else, but without some kind of background or some kind of taste, some kind of skill, it couldn't be worth it. So yeah, I think the DNA is the important thing. I don't know how about Terstin. What do you think about this topic?
I think as a country, we maybe have this problem, but as a electronic music scene, I think the women are treating well. They are on the same level that you know, male persons. And
Yes, yeah.
look, VTSS, for example. What kind of career she's doing it, and from the beginning she's you know, supported by the Polish people, and it's a huge support. For example, Institute is made of by two girls, you know, so I think we are supporting women, and we don't think that they are worse in any way. So
yeah,
I don't see the problem inside the, you know, techno scene, but outside, yeah, maybe we need to think about it.
I think, yeah, it's great to hear, first of all, and very comforting. And I think, Julia, you can be like a good example that, like, you know, it is open. One thing that I've realized this year because of the George Floyd events, like, you know, when with the Black Lives Matter, is that, like, I wasn't seeing the problem, and because I wasn't seeing the problem, I kind of turned a blind eye, because I was like, yeah, it's not a problem in the scene. I'm talking about my perspective. And that kind of made me aware that there is a problem. And just because I don't see it, because I'm lucky to be in a very open-minded environment, like, for me, it was like, I would just say, no, it's not a problem. It's really, like, not that important. But it is still a problem for a lot of people in a lot of realities. We are lucky that we are.
Yeah, that's why I told you that, you know, like a country, we need to think about this problem. But I'm not saying that we shouldn't be aware, and we shouldn't, you know, I think, like, inside the techno scene there is no problem, and it's a good thing. Like, we should keep going. Of course, I'm talking about, you know, my environment, right?
Yes.
I don't know what's happening, you know, behind it, but yeah, we treat people well in the techno scene, and I hope it will not change.
Yeah, I'm confident.
Like, I never saw any people on my festival or my events that, you know, was had any of fascistic, you know, thinking.
Yeah, marginalized or excluded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's still, we should, you know, focus to keep going, and we need to do something for the outside world, you know. But
yes, indeed, no, of course. And I'm gonna continue with some other questions from the Q&A. What is one of the biggest challenges promoters have, and what would you advise promoters do or not do? Let's say before pandemic, not just about pandemic.
So at first, like I said before, some kind of it's also banded. So the promoters have to have such DNA, this DNA from some project, also this style. Also, it's not worth it to follow, for example, some trends. So I think when you create something unusual, something new, you will also have an audience. Also, when it comes to picking the artist. So when you start, I think you have not some kind of much money, or maybe you're lucky and you have. But yeah, when you're starting doing some business, some kind of event, I think you have to look also for money. So you have to middle up yourself. for example.
Yes, got it. And Terstin, anything you want to add to that?
I think like this balance is very important. Like you know, most of us want to do the art, you know, but at some point you realize that you know, if you do only what you like, you will not get enough audience, you know. So you need to keep going with the club events. But if you want a festival, you need to find the money. So this is always difficult. You need to look for a, you know, donation from some city, or you can ask people for money. Like for example, you can do like social project like ensemble, for example. But it's never easy to find this balance, you know, because none of us want to make a commercial events.
Right.
You know, like most of the people in Poland, I don't know what is the statistic, but maybe it's like 80%. They are, you know, focused on the trance techno music right now. I don't say it's wrong, you know, because every kind of style has something interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, if you want to do something that is not the mainstream, then it's very difficult.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the mainstream, it's the easiest one to get money.
I love to make this festival, but sometimes I think I would like to come back to make a club events and to never go, you know, to the bigger format again. Because then you can do whatever you want, whatever you really love, and maybe it's some good way to make it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's striking the balance of finding the overlap between, you know, what we really love and what other people want is tricky, but it's needed. I'm gonna ask another question from the Q&A, and then we're gonna go toward the wrap up. Question from Mirka: how your adventure with electronic music began for both of you?
So when it comes to me, I have a group of friends in my home city in Łódź when we started to attend small parties, and I think how it goes. I also attend to some illegal parties, and I really associated very well. And then it started to going with a crew, for example, to some kind of bigger events, so festivals and other things.
Yeah, were you very young at the time, or?
It was kind of when I started to listening to this kind of music, it was like 4 years ago, but I'm 24. So yeah, I'm still young. I'm still learning. I'm still exploring.
Got it, yeah. Yeah, and then eventually it escalated and you started to be very much involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And then Terstin, what about you?
So like I told you, I am from a small town in south of Poland. We didn't have electronic music scene. So I also didn't have the luck to have someone to show me, for example, Aphex Twin, you know, back in the days. So I had to start from the electronic music which was around me. So it was not really good quality. I was listening some trance music, some house music. And then the night that changed everything is it was one of the Mayday events. I was there because of some trance artists, and I stuck in some stage where one alien was playing, and it was Jeff Mills. So it changed everything. I realized that everything I listened before doesn't have any sense, you know. So then I started really exploring the music, going deeper and deeper, and here I am right now.
Yeah, and you got stuck into the. You got immersed in the rabbit hole of techno.
Yeah, so, back in the days, I had the problem. I didn't know where to put my hands because there were so many, you know, genres and the styles to explore. And right now it's like a different, because of course we have more and more music, but a lot of the tracks are similar. So right now this is the challenge to find something that's make you, you know, surprise you. So.
Yeah,
but it's still possible, and every time I'm surprised, I think, okay, this maybe this has no limits, you know, because I often feel that nothing fresh can happen, nothing fresh can be created, and then I realized that, hey, Terstin, you're stupid. Because
yeah, I
again,
think,
again, you feel it, right?
yeah. I think it's not that you're stupid. It's the human mind. Like we tend to think it's like when you speak with old people and tell you, oh, the good old days before everything was better. You know, it's just we abstract in our mind. I think.
Yeah.
What we've seen.
To be more clear, I think this is the best time for electronic music. If we're talking only about the sound, like,
Yes.
come on, it's advanced and interesting music. I don't like the people that saying that techno or other genre was better before, because it's a bullshit. It's like we have more open-minded people, more advanced technology, and the sounds is better and more interesting. Just saying that, you know, it's not only about the music, but also my experience. Before it was much easier to, you know, be excited because of the sound, because everything was so unexplored. And right now you need to really focus, digging. And yeah. But when it happens, it's more satisfying, you know?
Yeah. It's like you open another door, like they didn't know existed.
Yeah, exactly. The door you didn't realize it is even existing. So
yeah, you go even deeper into the rabbit hole.
and every time you feel that you are on the deepest level, but then you realize that you're not.
Yeah, on that note, question for both of you. Who would be an artist that you would love to see on the stage? And this could be an artist that is not alive anymore, an artist that maybe is from a completely different genre. It doesn't have to be like on a revive stage, like any artist.
For me, for sure, it should be Plastic Man from like 80s, because maybe right now it's not really what makes me excited, but like I think Plastic Man was the beginning of the experimental way of music. Maybe not the beginning, but you know, the huge part of this progress. So this is for sure for me, and it would be really important. Maybe Africa Swing. And from the, you know, the artists that I hope we will be able to invite, I'm really deep into the Sega Bodega music right now, for example. Coco Clo, Sophie. I'm really, you know, exploring. Sometimes I'm a bit tired of techno.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for, you know, other ways. So I hope we'll be able to make it.
Yeah, why not? I'm looking forward to seeing more. And Julia, anything from your side?
When it comes to me, I'm very looking forward to our festival, because when we are creating this lineup, for example, I was so curious how it will be all cooperate, and we have postponed it for the second time now. So I'm really, I don't have such dreams of what kind of artist could be for here now, for example. But yeah, I'm just want to be on this next edition and to make it through, to be honest.
Yeah, looking forward. Like, so I think I've seen on Resident Advisor, you guys already have a date, which is April, I think, 2021.
But to be honest, I don't feel that it can happen. I hope the situation will change, but it will be difficult, because right now we have every week we have the record of the sickness in Poland, you know. So
it's not going down. Yeah,
not going down.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And who is a guest that you guys think we should interview, and why? We as a Almost Sound. Who would you love to see?
Yeah, you can start. I need to think about it.
So I think you can think about the members of also from our team. I think maybe Slope Unit or So Hate Love, for example. They create such a good music, so maybe it could be a good experience when you talk, for example, from some artists from our team, maybe.
Yeah, I know Slope Unit really well, because we living in London, we met thousands of times. And Hate Love, actually, I connected with him coincidentally like 2 days ago. We were just like sharing music with each other. So yeah, why not? Good suggestion.
Okay, I think you should invite Up to Date crew.
Up to Date.
Up to Date, yeah. For example, DTEC and HoS, for example. Because I think this is a project that, you know, like always giving people this experience, you know. There's so many interesting parts of this project. It's not only, you know, the music, and they open the club, they do great events, they have their own sound system, so probably in this, you know, this can be interesting conversation.
Yeah. I'm gonna check them out. I don't know them, but I'm sure like between me, Ale, and Flaminia, and the rest of the team, we know someone, and yeah, I'm gonna check them out. And then last question is, what question would you like us to ask the next guest without knowing who the next guest is going to be?
When we stop dancing again. Definitely.
I would like to ask if they can provide us like a guests for a first party at Berkeley for people from Revive. we will really need it.
Whoa, sorry. Tell me again, both of you, please repeat the question. What did you say, Julia?
When we stop dancing again.
Okay. Yeah. And Terstin, you say the Berghain?
I would ask about the guests for the Berghain for a whole Revive crew. Ask them if they can provide it for us, because we are really hungry. We need it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll put that into the rider of for the next interview. And as you might imagine, there is a question from the past interview, which is, what other jobs have you done in your life so far, aside from anything related to music?
I was an accountant, for example, and also I work in customer service with German. It was very, very annoying job, really. Keep on touch with every kind of German people, and they are really annoying, really. I think Terstin knows something about it because he lives in Germany. Yeah.
It doesn't sound super fun. And Terstin?
Actually, I was doing so many things in my life. I was a driver. I was a seller. Yeah, I do a couple of things. I was even selling carpets, you know.
Wow. Okay. I mean, the carpets, I would love to ask more about it, but like, just tell us the most boring job you've done and the most interesting one, if anything comes to mind.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking. The most boring one in general, or?
Yeah. Or that you have done in the past.
I have done, so I think being an accountant, for example, in a company is really boring activity. So you are only sitting in front of your computer, looking at the numbers. And also, what is funny, I'm not good at math. So it was really hard for me. But in the other side was also boring. So I was working there for 3 months only. So yeah. It's so itself, I think.
Enough.
Enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it's not a surprise, but being a promoter or, you know, being involved into music industry is the most interesting. And I don't think anything can happen in my life that will, you know, change this minds. And to be honest, what was the most boring? Everything else.
I couldn't.
Actually, the job I have right now, it's maybe like, it's not my world, but it's kind of interesting because you never expect what can happen. So maybe it's not the most boring. But yeah, anything else, trust me, I can be the best, you know, employee if I like something, if I love something. But for sure, I am the worst if I'm not interested into it, you know. So I was changing a job many times in my life.
Yeah,
it was always difficult for me, you know, to keep going, to be on time, to do it, you know, for a long time. So yeah, I don't know what my life would be without the, you know, music industry.
Yeah,
I don't know what I will be doing in a couple of years, because, you know, sometimes I think to stop to be a promoter, but for sure music will stay around me till the end of my life.
Wow. Very, very inspiring. And on this positive note, I want to thank you guys for being with us. It's been a pleasure to meet you more in depth and to have you here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And any announcement, or let's say, where should people connect with you guys, with Revive, if they want to find out more?
There's a Facebook page, I think. Social media.
Yeah, Instagram, I guess the usual one. Instagram, Facebook. We will put all the links in the show notes.
We are not really active right now. Like I told you, we are on, we are waiting for the better times to plan everything. Right now, only our podcast series is continuing and nothing more. So not too much to read about Revive or to check out. But yeah, for sure we will be very active on the beginning of the new world.
Yes, and I really look forward to the moment. And thank you guys for being with us. It's been an incredible pleasure. Hopefully we're going to meet in person soon.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, this is Joseph, and this is the outro. If you really like the content, I wanted to ask you, please consider liking us on Instagram or leaving a review on the podcast. Whether you're using that on Apple is very useful for us, and your comment makes all of our work worth it. Also, if you have any guests that you really would like us to chat with, let us know. We take any suggestion or any feedback, and we use it to improve and direct what we're going to do next. If you're a producer and you're interested in masterclasses with artists such as Scalamaria, BSK, Romek, Lag, and many more, you can now check our website homosound.co.uk. We have plenty of classes and more are coming as well. So brace yourself, you're going to get a lot of content. And one last thing, shout out for Vlad for editing this podcast and Declan for creating the content that you all see on social media. Plus, of course, big thanks to Juliana, Flaminia, Alessandro and Rick from TapeFeed for all the rest of the work at HoS Sound. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time at HoS Sound.